That was kind of bad. Hold on. That was kind of bad too. Hold on. Wait. Why do I suck at clapping? What? There we go. Hello, welcome back to another video. If you're new to my channel, subscribe and stuff. I've been dropping music for the last 90 days, like almost exactly as of today. So I wanted to go over all my stats. Well, not all of them, just the ones from Spotify. Give you an insight of what it has done for me and like sort of the pros and cons, what I've done to promote the music, to sort of encompass what it's like to drop weekly. I have been putting them on all streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, SoundCloud, whatever, through DistroKid, today's sponsor, which we'll talk about them later. But it's done a lot of good for me and I really have no complaints. There's still a lot that I want to touch on, so let's just get into the video. So the main reasons I really wanted to do this weekly drop thing was Russ started doing it a while back, and I remember he had like a popular interview talking about how he was dropping every week and he really gained a fan base really fast and it worked out really well for him. So I was always interested in trying to do it, but I never like had the time to make the music nor did I have the inspiration or the skills. But now I can whip up music pretty quickly and efficiently, and I think I'm just better than I ever have been at making music. So making music weekly now is actually pretty easy. So I thought, screw it, let's just start doing it. And I also wanted to get into the algorithmic playlist a little bit more as well, because the algorithmic playlists on Spotify are just 10 times better than editorials or really anything that you could pay for, as they are real people and they're pushing to a new audience like consistently over and over and over. So you want to keep real, true fans engaged, and being able to get into the algorithmic playlist is just super ideal. So posting weekly is just an easy way to do that, especially with Release Radar. Like that is one of the top playlists. My first drop on Spotify was on January 18th of 2019. Since the start of that, I've accumulated 1,725 followers. I've gotten 3,093,310 streams. Release Radar has given me 51,110 streams. The radio has given me 91,185 streams. Your Daily Mix has given me 98,084 streams. And On Repeat has given me 15,877 streams. Now you may notice that I only gave you streams and not listeners. It's very difficult to calculate your listeners, as a lot of the time they're the same people over and over. So sure, one of the playlists may say it gave you 5,000 listeners this month, but 3,000 of those could have been the same people from last month, so it doesn't really matter. And streams are the thing that get you money, and they're constantly linear, so it's just more important to focus on the streams. Now I started dropping weekly on June 17th of this year, which is again about 90 days exactly from right now. So I've put together all the stats that I've gotten since that date, and all of the stream counts that I'm about to list are just on the songs that have dropped since then, because some of these playlists have my older music in them as well, so I deducted those numbers. So in the last 90 days, I've gotten 173 followers, which is 10% of my total follower count, so a huge growth in followers, and those are very, very important. We'll talk about them in a little bit. I've gotten a total of 73,906 streams, which is about 2.4% of my total stream count. I did one of those online calculators for revenue, and on Spotify, apparently I've gotten around 295 USD. Release Radar has given me 27,045 streams, which is about 52.9% of the total streams that I've gotten from the Release Radar playlist ever. So more than half of my Release Radar streams have come in the last 90 days than they have since I've been putting music out. So being very consistent has proven to have a very consistent algorithmic growth in Release Radar. And that is one of the biggest things that I was trying to focus on, and it clearly works really well. The radio has given me 9,225 streams, which is about 9.9% of my streams that I've gotten from radio total. Your Daily Mix has given me 6,489 streams, which is about 6.6% of the total. And On Repeat has given me 612 streams, which is about 3.6% of the total. Altogether, the algorithmic playlists in the last 90 days have given me 43,371 streams, which is about 58.6% of the total streams that I've gotten in the last 90 days. So my goal of getting my music more into the algorithmic playlist has worked tremendously. So I'm really messing with the weekly drops, and I don't think I'm gonna stop for as long as I possibly can. Most of these numbers are gonna be linear as well as compounding over time, as long as I'm consistent with both quality music and consistent timeline. So I really do believe in this strategy, and I think it can work for pretty much anyone. Now I'm gonna talk about what I did to promote my music in this time, but before that, we're gonna talk about DistroKid, which is the platform that allows me to even do this so easily. If you don't already have your music on Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, any of the big platforms that actually get you some money for your music, DistroKid starts at just $20 a year. I'm on their $36 a year plan, and I have been for about like 4 years now. I've had absolutely no complaints. They're absolutely incredible. They allow you to have unlimited uploads for that price tag. They have a bunch of cool things like hyper follow links, which allow you to collect pre-saves on your upcoming songs, which also increases your follower count on Spotify, you know what I'm saying? They have connections to big record labels where you can send your music. You can become a Twitch affiliate if you want to stream doing music stuff and get paid for it. And there's a bunch of really, really cool stuff. So if you want to sign up for them, make sure you use my link at the top of the description. It'll save you 7% on their already super low prices, and it'll support me, so I would really appreciate it. But with that said, let's get back to the video. So in terms of promotion, the thing that I would do before is I would make some cool visualizers to put on my story and my feed, as well as a music video if possible. I would put together like a full set of videos that I could post on my stories and like, you know, add links and do link in bio and all this type of stuff. But ever since dropping weekly, I've done almost none of that. I've just focused on making good music, putting it out, and just repeating that process. There's been a couple times where I posted my songs on my story like, hey, these are some new songs that I dropped, but those are just really like a simple photo of maybe myself in the mirror with like the song Instagram music thing, and then maybe a link. But I haven't been doing like a full campaign run on all social medias and stuff like I used to before. So there's very little cross promotion coming from other platforms. It's just entirely coming from the algorithm and my current fan base. The one other thing that I have been doing is submitting my music to listening to your music streams on Twitch and YouTube. I probably spent about $50 on submissions to these streams, whether that be a skip the line or just a regular submission, whatever. A lot of the time, the people in those streams that don't know who I am will like mess with the song, and I'll give them a link, or they'll just search it up themselves and I'll gain some new fans that way. Or if I submit to the same streams consistently, a lot of the time the same audience will recognize, you know, who I am because of my consistency in those communities. And then they'll realize, oh, 17 just dropped a new song. I'm gonna go listen to that. And I'll be able to get some return listeners from just consistently putting it in these streams in their communities. That has truly been one of the best ways to actually promote my music. I also have my own community because I do my own Twitch streams listening to your music. If you're interested, my Twitch is linked in the description, and I do listening to your music streams every Wednesday and Saturday at 4 p.m. EST. I have a fairly large Discord where I can post some stuff in there, but I've only posted, I think, once or twice. The reason I don't like to post a lot is so A, I don't bombard people with notifications. A lot of the time your notifications will just be ignored if they're being spammed. I don't want people turning notifications off for my server, so I only do it when it really counts. So I think I've posted about 2 songs in there, and I always mention it in my Twitch stream. But at the very beginning, I usually put in a couple of my songs as like the intro, and maybe throughout the stream, I'll like show one of my new songs that I worked on or dropped, because, you know, I've been really proud of the music that I've been putting out. So that's pretty much the only ways that I've been promoting my music outside of the algorithmic playlists and stuff like that. The last thing that has really helped me a lot, and this is probably something you've heard a bunch, and that's collaborating with new people. One of my advantages to having a DistroKid sponsorship is I have a bunch of artist slots. When I have a bunch of artist slots, I can do what are called co-releases. If you don't know what a co-release is, essentially it's when you're able to drop a song under both artist profiles so it shows up for both of you. So instead of you tagging somebody as a feature and it showing at the bottom of their profile as like appears on this song or this album, the song that they're co-released on is actually on their profile. So it can show up in their top 10 songs, or like under their singles or albums, it can actually show up in there. So co-releases can be really, really helpful in that regard, as well as any monthly listeners that they get on that song, you also get them. And let's say both of you have 1,000 followers, both of your audiences are going to get that song in their release radar. So you can pretty much double the promotion that you have on your songs when you co-release. So I did a co-release with Dear Me, which has worked out pretty well. I did a co-release with Andrew Southworth and Kashaga. I've also done a couple co-releases with Zay and Kashaga, and pretty much every single release that I've been doing since these drops has been a co-release. If there's somewhere that I could recommend that you invest your money, it would be in the record label plan that DistroKid offers. If you're already gaining a fair bit of traction on Spotify, doing co-releases with a bunch of people who are also the same size or bigger is one of the best decisions you can make. Now, I know for some people it might seem like, oh, making a new song every single week that's ready to upload on Friday is gonna be too hard. I need more time to make music. What I actually did was I had about 4 or 5 songs ready to go beforehand, and so I was able to schedule like a month to a month and a half worth of music in one sitting. So that gave me a lot of time to make music. Ever since then, I've been able to get into creative flows like once every couple of weeks and make like 4 or 5 songs in one sitting. Then I go ahead and I grind out those pieces of music that I want finished, and then I upload them all at the same time. Usually what happens for me is I get in a creative lull and I just can't create anything. So giving myself only that week to make a song and then upload it for Friday would be just really irresponsible and dumb, and I would give up on that really quickly. But since I gave myself enough time to work on music, it's been really easy to keep up with it. Having this schedule also keeps my ADD in check because I have this minor sense of urgency, like I have to get music out in order to keep this consistency, but I also have enough time to do it and enough enjoyment of what I'm doing that I can focus on it and get things things done. One of the biggest things right now that I'm trying to make sure I don't do is miss a single week. And I want to do this for absolutely as long as possible. It hasn't felt draining whatsoever. And I've had enough releases consistently back to back that I've been able to just, you know, sort of sit back and chill. It's also super gratifying that every single week you can look at your profile and be like, oh, I dropped another song, or I forgot this song even existed. And now it's available for both you and your audience. You can give yourself streams, which is giving yourself earnings, and you can enjoy the music once again. I found that when I held my music in the vault for like an album or something, a lot of the time I would over listen to it, which A, through a web player or whatever, just doesn't give you any money, and B, you get sick of the songs, so you're just bored of them and you don't want to promote them, or you're not excited at all when they get released. But releasing weekly has kept that excitement around. And one thing that I forgot to touch on, which is actually really, really important, and if you stuck around this long, appreciate you, is that the hyperfollow links have done a lot for my growth. Every time somebody pre-saves your song through a hyperfollow link, they automatically follow your Spotify profile. Every time you get a new follower on Spotify, your release radar gets another listener. I use release radar consistently, and I know a lot of my friends do as well. The algorithmic playlists have proven to just kind of be the best ones for finding A, songs from people that you already like, and B, songs from people that you'll probably like. So that's why I really wanted to do this weekly release thing, to put a lot of focus in there and get myself just sort of shoved in it. So I highly recommend this to pretty much anyone. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, please. Comment down below if you have any questions for me. I would be very happy to answer them. Anyways, guys, it's been your boy MMXVI, and I'm out. Peace.